And good afternoon to those of you in Canada, the United States. And good morning to those here in Australia, New Zealand. And to those of you watching on recording, hello as well. Hello, my name is Michael Haynes, Business Growth Specialist for small and medium B2B accounting, technology, and law firms. And welcome to another edition for Ask Michael Anything. For those of you who are new or watching this for the first time, Ask Michael Anything is my live stream show, which I run twice a month. And it's an opportunity for leaders and members of small, medium, B2B accounting, tech, and law firms to ask questions that they may have that their firms are grappling with as they're trying to build and grow those firms. So please do jump in and please do say hello. Let me know where you're dialing in from. It's always great to know where we're coming from. Now, also, if you have any questions as you're going through as well, please do post those in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. I am using a StreamYard broadcasting system, so sometimes the questions don't always come through. So if I haven't answered your question, my apologies. I'll be please let me know, and I'll be sure to do so in the recap that I'll be putting out next week. So again, Ask Michael Anything is a live stream show dedicated for us operating in the B2B professional services sectors of accounting, technology, and law. Hello there, Derek. Great to see you here on board. Why accounting, technology, and law, and why the need for this live stream show is because our world of professional services, our three disciplines specifically, is undergoing a lot of disruption, a lot of change. The needs and expectations and requirements of our clients are something that is going under a lot of change, and how they buy, something I'm going to be impacting a little bit in this Ask Michael Anything, but in future upcoming events and content is something that is very much top of mind. Hello, Kim, Fear in Sydney. Great to have you here on board as well. So the format for those of you that are new to Ask Michael Anything is that I usually will kick off with 3 tips, 3 insights. Today is going to be around the 3 tips I'm going to be talking about are the 3 kinds of listening that are essential to building and growing your accounting, technology, law firm. So I generally will share 3 tips, 3 insights, and then we'll open up for questions in terms of any questions that you may have regarding those 3 tips, insights that I've just presented, or those that you may have. But at any point in time, please put those into the comments, and I will do my best, like I said, to answer for you. So today's topic is about the 3 types of listening that your firm, be it your accounting firm, technology company, or law firm, that must undertake to build and grow your business. There are 3 kinds of listening that I'm going to give an overview of today. I will be going into a much more deep dive with some upcoming content that will be coming out in the next 2 weeks. But in today's live stream, I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot and an overview. The first kind of listening you must undertake is what I call listening to you. And this is really about taking a really in-depth introspective look at the firm leaders, looking at your firm. And this is really about having a clear, deep understanding of with respect to what are your company's goals, visions, what are some of your key priorities, making sure you have an understanding of what are the core capabilities within your company, within your firm. So in terms of your skills, your expertise, knowledge, what kinds of methodologies that you have that exist within your firm. Understanding what kind of resources you have in terms of the kind of talent, okay? So the kind of people that you have, your financing, your equipment, your technologies that you're looking at and you're using. Also, as part of listening to you, in addition to knowing what your capabilities and your resources, it's taking a bit of that in-depth business analysis. So looking at your financials to really understand how are you doing in terms of revenues, your growth, costs, profitability. Looking at what are some of the key strengths within your firm. So where are you getting those wins? So wins in terms of what's driving those revenues and profits? Is it certain products, services, and solutions? Is it operating within certain verticals? Is it working within certain geographic markets, certain specific kinds of clients? Really having an understanding of what's driving those revenues, what's driving those profitabilities. Understanding in terms of respect to your client base, in terms of not just who are some of the clients that are giving you the love, but who are the clients in terms of from a revenue standpoint, profitability standpoint, but who are those clients that may be your champions, advocates, giving you referrals. These are critical things you need to have a very in-depth and clear understanding of when you're looking to further build and grow your accounting, technology, or law practice. So very important. So that listening to you, having that in-depth understanding around capabilities, resources, financial performance, where are the sources of your wins with your clients? Who are your champions? Who are your advocates? What are some of the weaknesses? What are some of the gaps internally in terms of market knowledge, skills, capabilities? Very important that you have an in-depth understanding of these things. A great way in which to really gain an understanding of those is often through doing some workshopping with members of your leadership team and cross-functionally. So having that kind of cross-functional workshop where you can be bringing together to really make sure that you have clarity and understanding around skills, capabilities, resources, the performance of your organization in terms of revenues, profitabilities, what your clients are doing, where you're having your strengths are across your product service portfolio. What are the wins? What are the areas of improvement? So, doing that periodic, bringing that team together, cross-functional team. So, team members as well as leaders to have that cross-functional discussion is a great way to really gain an understanding of those strengths, capabilities, because it's going to start helping you to focus in terms of determining where are the market opportunities that you should be focusing on. Are those ones that are current, or are there other possibilities? This will start to help shed some light and give some clarity with respect to that. So listening to you, that is one form of listening that you need to be doing. The second form of listening is what I call listening to the market. Now, listening to the market is about gaining that in-depth understanding of those industries and geographical markets, both of those that you are currently serving as well as those that you seek to serve. Okay, and it's very, very important in terms of gaining that understanding, that industry market analysis, that industry market understanding. Why is it so important? Yes, ultimately, it's going to help you give clarity as to where to focus. But in our world of professional services across accounting, technology, and law, the market conditions really now is making it imperative that you have that depth of understanding the industries and markets that you serve. As across all three, we're facing increased competition. So there are a lot more competitors operating within our respective spaces. You've got the large firms, which are expanding their capabilities because they're now, in many cases, trying to be all things to all clients, as well as you have a lot of niche accounting practices, technology companies, legal firms that are going very niche with specialized offerings, very innovative new business models. So we have a whole new influx, a plethora of new players and operators within accounting, tech, law, in the B2B capacity, and that is only expected to increase. So we've got lots of players, more players coming into the market, and there's a lot of marketplace unpredictability, a lot of volatility. Different industries, different geographic markets. There's different legal, regulatory considerations are happening. There's M&A, there are mergers and acquisitions that are occurring. There's differing in terms of trends. Different industries, different markets are performing. The economic performance, the economic drivers are different. So it's very important that you have an understanding of that landscape of what you are currently dealing with, and for those industry, geographic markets that you may be potentially wanting to be moving forward. Another reason that's adding to the importance of having an understanding of what's going on from an industry market perspective, so that listening to the market. Another reason why it's so critical is due to client complexity. Our clients that we are having across accounting, technology, law firms. Our clients, our B2B clients, they're getting more complex because they are looking to grow, developing new products and solutions, going into new markets, coming up with new business models. So as their complexity is increasing by virtue of the scope and magnitude, the things that they're looking to do, which they may be looking to do across markets as well, is another reason why you really need to have an in-depth understanding of the industries and markets that you're currently serving, seeking to serve, so you can be understanding the market dynamics of what is going within those markets, as well as having an understanding of the client complexities, the broad client trends, of what they are looking for, of what's happening, of what they're looking to do. So these are the reasons why you want to have that, doing that listening to the market. Now, in terms of listening to the market, what exactly should you be listening for? There are really kind of three broad things that you need to be looking for when you are listening to the market, which is fundamentally really gaining that depth of understanding from an industry and market perspective. You want to be understanding, first of all, and I'm just going to go through these fairly at a high level. In terms of a deep dive, I will be putting out a video on listening to the market, which will go into much more detail as to the parameters to be examined, as well as the source and how you go about doing so. But to give you a bit of a flavor and overview of what some will be covered in more depth, three areas that you want to be covering off when you are doing that listening to the market. First, you want to be understanding market performance. So for those industry verticals, for those geographic markets, you want to have an understanding of, growth rates. Are those industries, are those markets growing and shrinking? What are the revenues like? What are the profitabilities like? You want to be understanding their overall market conditions, market trends. So what's happening within those industries and or geographic markets that you're operating in? Are there new technologies? Are there many disruptions? Is there a lot of M&A activity? Are there new legal and or regulatory changes? What's the overall economic performance and environment like? So these are some of the elements that you definitely want to be considering and looking at. You also want to be looking at your competitors as well. So in addition to understanding how the market's performing, understanding the trends, you want to be understanding your competitors. Now, with respect to doing your competitor analysis, and again, I will be going into that in more detail in the videos I'll be putting out in the next couple of weeks. When you are doing our competitor analysis, two things I want to call out. Number one, this is about doing a strategic competitor analysis. So this is not about comparing, to use a technology example, to compare your particular product solution to another. That is one component of it, but fundamentally, the purpose of doing your competitor analysis is to really be looking at it from a buyer perspective. So what would make your prospective client choose your IT strategy firm versus another, your accounting and advisory firm versus another? So it's taking a very broad, holistic, strategic look at your potential competitors, and again, looking at it from that decision maker perspective. So you really need to understand and identify what are those direct and indirect competitors that your clients and prospects are considering, and that needs to be kind of the competitive set that you will do your competitor analysis on. And again, I will go into more detail about that in the deep dive video, but some of the things you're going to be wanting to look at with respect to doing your competitor analysis is understanding their strengths, their capabilities, understanding, the markets they're focusing on, understanding the nature of what are some of the solutions that they're offering, how they're promoting to and engaging with the clients that they're going after and seeking to serve, are some of the things that you want to be looking at. So you've got listening to you, doing that internal analysis to really understand capabilities, resources, what are your strengths? What are you bringing to the table in terms of skills, methodology, expertise? Where are you getting your wins from a financial perspective, profitability perspective, but also in terms of a marketplace client perspective as well? Is you're listening to you. Then we have listening to the market to really understand market trends, market performance, what are the market dynamics, what is really occurring in terms of economic conditions, regulatory changes, legal changes, broad customer trends, requirements, to really understand what is going on within those industries and within the geographies for which you're operating. The third type of listening that you're going to want to be doing, and this is the one where is often neglected but is most important, is listening to customers. But for us in professional services, and we tend to have ongoing relationships, I like to use the terminology clients. So listening to your clients. Now, this is where often I find many organizations, accounting, tech, law, whether they're a small SMB, whether a mid-market, large corporate, this is often the area that gets neglected. Now, in terms of understanding your clients, it is very important that you not simply understand at an organizational level. So to give an example, so perhaps you're, let's say, an IT MSP, managed service provider, and you're looking to get into some of the second tier community regional banks used as an example. It is not enough to understand the organization in terms of its characteristics, a lot of its firmographic characteristics of those target second level regional community banks. You have to understand the decision makers. We need to understand at that buyer level. The critical component of what you need to be understanding at that client level are three things. We need to know who makes the decision, who influences the decision, and how they buy. It is those three questions that you must get depth, specificity, understanding of, because that is going to be integral to really driving your growth strategies, your go-to-market strategy, how you go to market, by having that understanding. Very, very important. So again, the critical things that you need to understand are who makes a decision, what are their priorities, how they buy. Now, I'm sure many of you are aware that in terms of in B2B buying, there are multiple people involved in the decision-making process. You have the decision makers themselves who make the decision, but then they will have a number of influencers who are providing their recommendations. They're often doing the shortlist. So when a company is looking to get an IT strategy firm to support a digital transformation initiative, the senior leaders, they may be the final decision makers, but they will have influencers, business analysts and other folks within the organization, often at lower mid levels, who will be the ones to create the shortlist and do the initial evaluation and screening. So you need to have an understanding of who is involved, not just in making the final decision, but will give their recommendations, do that shortlisting assessments. So we need to know who makes the decision and influences the decision. What are their key priorities? Okay, what are their key priorities? What are they trying to achieve? And we need to understand, how do they buy? It is this last point of how our buyers of our professional services, be it legal services, IT strategy, implementation services, our accounting services, it is how our clients, how our prospects buy that has fundamentally changed over the past couple of years. There's been a number of studies that have been done specifically within our world of professional services, and it has changed. So even 3 or 4 years ago, the big key fundamental question that our clients and prospects was asking was, who can help me solve? Who can help me determine what are the right market opportunities to enter the Asia Pacific market? Who is the right, the question has changed from, how do I go about creating the strategy to enter a new market? How do I go about creating a specific solution? The question has changed from how, which is very much, how do we get things done, for which a lot of our buyers were doing a lot of searching going through content. Now the question is not just about how. The question now within our world of professional services, when folks are looking for advisory advice, they're looking for, who can help me solve? So the focus of what our decision makers are focusing on now has very much changed from the how do we do it, to whom can help us achieve those objectives. As a result, yes, they're looking at content and they're doing a lot of independent research, but a lot of the research now is involving networks of people. So who are the experts, the industry influencers, who are the right peers, who are the groups they can go to where they can get what I call AIR. You've often heard me talk about advice, insights, and recommendation. Who can provide me with the expertise, can provide me with the recommendations for solutions, strategies, best practices, how to create the right kind of solution, can connect me with other experts. So that is very much the key fundamental question that is often being asked now. So those are the three questions, three types of listening that you need to be undertaking is, listening to you, so that internal analysis to really understand strengths, capabilities, where you're having your strengths, what are some of your weaknesses, where are you having wins in the marketplace with your clients, where's your business having success, getting clarity on that. Secondly, having an understanding of the market in terms of the market trends, market performance, who are your key competitors from that buyer point of view. And then the third kind of listening that you need to be doing is having that listening at that client level, at that decision maker level, knowing who makes the decisions, what are their priorities, and how do they buy. Very important you get an in-depth understanding of those, as the question of the buying process, that whole research and decision process is very much being revolved around who can help me solve, who has that depth of expertise and can help me achieve those objectives. So those are the three kinds of listening, for which there are very specific ways of how you go about doing so. I will be releasing a video which will go into a deep dive around listening to the market and listening to clients, that will give you very actionable, specific tips on what you need to do and how you can get started to build that depth of understanding at that market level, as well as that client decision maker level. Now, again, folks, if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat, and I will definitely try to answer them. Always, also, as a heads up, if you're unable to attend live, but you do have some questions that you would like answered during the live stream, please do send me a DM message on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to try to answer those questions for you. And so in doing so, I do have a couple questions that were brought forth in terms of questions that folks wanted to have answered. One question that came up was, how does the firm get positioned as the go-to expert, particularly when you're looking to acquire some of those larger mid-market, large corporate enterprise clients? Great question. Again, this is something I will go into more detail at a later point. But in terms of how you're positioning yourself as a go-to expert, that is something that's quite very important for us in professional services as buyers of advisory services, being accounting, technology, legal. Our clients are very much looking for depth of expertise, and the research has shown that has only increased in part because of the client complexity. Our clients now are doing a lot more. They're trying to develop new solutions, going into new markets, creating new offerings, serving different kinds of clients. And so hence the level of expertise that they're requiring is increasing significantly. So becoming an expert, so first step to becoming the go-to is you need to be looking at making sure you are indeed an expert and an expert in what your current clients and prospective clients are looking for. So a key way of becoming an expert is through specialization. And specialization can be done in a number of ways. It can be done through industry or application. So you might focus by being a specialist in a specific industry, or respect to specific types of technology, or specific types of case of law, certain kinds of law you might really want to zero and specialize in. Functional expertise. So you might be a functional expert in the areas of finance. It could be business process or process outsourcing. It could be IT project management. It could be geographic expertise. So you have expertise on working within specific geographic markets. And your specialization might be combining some of those. So being a person that works on financial systems pertaining to certain kinds of transactions for Asia Pacific, to use as an example. A fourth way that you may want to be potentially specializing might be by specific client accounts, certain client types. So the first thing to becoming a go-to expert, you must have that depth of expertise, and depth of expertise often through specialization, through potentially combining across the dimensions around industries, functions, geography, and or by client type segment. combining across one or more of those to develop your expertise is a great way to, first of all, develop and have a basis of positioning for your expertise. Now, a key thing you want to be doing, though, is to be making sure, in terms of determining how you specialize, again, that's where your market understanding and really understanding your markets, your clients, to really understand what are the market trends, what are the market drivers, requirements, your clients, how are they evolving in, how are they evolving? That will help you determine how you're really going to craft where your expertise is, and then craft that positioning around it. So that's the first thing. So being an expert, making sure you have that market understanding so you know where the opportunities, what kind of expertise is required, and then developing your specialization around that. Then the next thing that you're going to be needing to do then is, again, really understanding your buyers. So understanding their requirements, their priorities, what are they looking to do, where are they're needing their expertise. So that market buyer understanding is critical. Then the next thing you need to do, and many of my clients who work with me know, I talk about living in the market. So then you really need to then start identifying now, because the big question that our clients are often asking is, who can help me solve? What are those groups, people, industry experts, influencers, who can help me solve those key imperatives, be it around transformation, certain kinds of financial transactions, business strategies, what have you. It's understanding those networks. Where are those networks of the trusted, regarded people, events, experts, influencers? And then you need to start gaining visibility, aligning with, getting in front of, and working with those folks. So the key to becoming an expert is really around formulating your basis of your expertise, and that needs to be driven by market client demand and what the requirements and trends are, and formulating your expertise around that. Once you have that, then it's really about understanding the networks, and that comes from your listening to your buyers, understanding where are those networks and living in those networks, living in those markets, and understanding who are the people, the events, the groups, communities, experts that your clients and prospects go to when they want to know about the how and getting recommendations, and you want to be working with, aligning with those folks, and then demonstrating your expertise, providing the advice, insights, and recommendations very much through those networks, those people that you have established that your clients and prospects are going to. Second question that I was asked, so I hope that was helpful. Next question that was sent to me was asking about what are the steps with respect to taking your firm and going into new markets, particularly going into new international markets. This is something, a great question that was submitted. So thank you, Jerry, for that. Again, this is another topic that I will be expanding on and talking about in the next couple of weeks. But with respect to your market entry, going into new markets, again, your first starting point is going to be around your listening. Again, so this kind of relates to what I've just been speaking about, doing your, starting off with that internal analysis, listening to you. So, what are your capabilities, your resources, your skills, your expertise, the methodologies, your knowledge that you have. What do you also have in terms of market knowledge around those potential new markets? You also need to be mindful in terms of language and cultural considerations. So doing that internal assessment around your capabilities, your resources, and also factoring in that international component around language and culture should also be part of that internal assessment. Again, you want to be looking at doing your market analysis to really understand, what are the legal and regulatory requirements, economic conditions, what are the trends, market performance, understanding broad customer requirements, having an understanding of the competitive landscape, gaining an understanding at that market level. You want to also try and get an understanding at that client, at that buyer level. So understanding what are their requirements, preferences, how they buy, what are their key priorities, with whom do they tend to do your prospective clients within those markets, who do they tend to gravitate to as trusted sources for advice, insight, recommendations, so that you really can gain an understanding of that. So that in-depth market analysis is going to be very, very important to really help you ascertain where are the gaps, the market opportunities. Then you're going to need to be formulating your market entry strategy. Part of your market entry, your go-to-market, is going to be looking at how are you going to get that market penetration, what's going to be your business development model. Now, by basis of having that understanding from listening to the market, listening to prospective clients, you will have an understanding of what are some of the options. Quite potentially, strategic collaboration will be a key way of breaking through by having an understanding of the networks of which the clients and prospects in those markets operate. Collaboration could quite potentially be one of the components of your overarching go-to-market strategy. All right, so that concludes this session of Ask Michael Anything. Hope you found this useful. So again, quickly to recap, the 3 kinds of listening that you need to be doing: listening to you, that internal analysis; listening to the market, that industry, geographic market analysis as well; understanding market trends, performance, understanding your competitors; listening to your clients; and listening to the buyers. Again, there will be a deep dive videos on how to be listening to the market well as how to be listening to clients. Those videos will be available on my YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks. The next Ask Michael Anything session will be 2 weeks from today. So on the 26th and 27th of February will be the next LinkedIn Live. If you're not able to attend, please do send in your questions if you're able to do so. If you haven't connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me on LinkedIn and register for my newsletter. And that's all for today. So wishing you a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching live or on the recording. And until next time, stay safe and bye for now. Thank you.